The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's version of the Mayor's and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Each week, we bring you the mayors and supervisors from all around our towns and villages, telling us what's new and happening, which you want to hear. Let's start off this week with Eileen in the village of Scottsville. Eileen, how are we doing there?
We're doing well. Good afternoon, everyone. The Village Board of Trustees meeting will be held this week on Tuesday, July 13th at 6:30 p.m. in the municipal building. Again, remember that now they are in-person meetings, so you can come right down to the municipal office if you want to join in at the meeting. Vaccinated people are not required to wear a mask, but may do so if they want. It's a personal choice, but we do ask non-vaccinated people to please wear a mask. Christine Uribe, manager of the Greenway Trail, will be speaking at our village board meeting about the Greenway. Work that is being done on the Greenway this summer. Remember, they are going to be working on resurfacing the Greenway from Owaka Creek up through Ballantyne Road. The bridge across Owaka Creek will be completely closed down during that time. So we want you to just remember that. And then she will also be discussing the fact that Scottsville is a trail town. We've been designated a trail town along the Greenway. And as such, there is a tentative plan for some improvements within Kanawagis Park itself. Water stations, signage for history, for businesses in the area, that kind of thing. And she will also present this to the board. I think they're talking about some increased parking spaces, which would be a real plus for our park. But speaking of Kanawagis Park and the Greenway, I've been receiving comments and concerns about the park from residents. As I've discussed before, on this program, we've been overwhelmed with people since we were put on social media. And it's not local people. We're getting a lot of people from around the area. And I've been getting calls about being threatened, being harassed. And we are addressing these problems. We have been talking about this for the past few months over the winter and spring with the Greenway people, with the town, the village, and we called in a meeting of the Greenway manager. We had the regional director of the parks. We had all the law enforcement from this area, including Monroe County Sheriff, state troopers, the park police, the DEC police, and anyone else that might have some contact with this area. All of this, has been addressed and is being addressed. We have completed the signs for the park. There will be rules put up in the park and stating the guidelines for using the park. And we ask everybody, to please follow these rules. The DPW will be installing these signs shortly. And let me remind residents especially that if you see any illegal activity or anything that could cause you concern, please call 911. Do not engage with any individuals. We have spoken to law enforcement and about this, and we're hoping for increased coverage in the park. we want to make sure the park is safe for everybody, visitors and residents alike. So please, if you see something that shouldn't be going on, please call 911. That way the police have a record of it. It helps us monitor the park. Enough about that. Anyway, we are getting applications to fill a DPW labor vacancy. Contact the village office for details. Applications are due by July 16th. And that is it for Scottsville right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Eileen. Jerry, town of Rush. What should I know about Rush?
What you should know is that Rush is the best kept secret in Western New York. And boy, are we proud of that. And I would like to talk about a involvement that we are going to pursue. It's called the Stop the Violence Mission. I know John was there about a month or so ago when we had a meeting with Chief James Van Brederode, State Police, Livingston County Sheriff, and some others. Their concern is, and you don't always see this in the media, but their concern is that violence is creeping into the suburbs. And I think that includes us. And we are going to become involved and do whatever we can to maintain the peace and tranquility that has been part of the Rush environment since the beginning of time. We don't want violence impacting our community. And we also don't think that other communities should tolerate it either. So I'm hoping that everyone will get involved. There's going to be a march on Thursday, July 15th. That's sponsored by Henrietta Rush and the Brighton Collaborative March. And I hope that people will become involved in that. For anyone who wants to have answers to their questions, you can call me at 533-9058. I have a flyer that I can send out via email. Bottom line is, we've got to put a stop to this before it gets to our shore. And some of these things can take on a life of their own, and then it's harder to deal with. So we want to make sure that we deal with it right now when it's in the bud stage. We are, as I said in last week's program, we are proceeding forth with the budget period of time, and I hope that citizens will become involved, at least as spectators to the budget proceedings. We now have open meetings where you can walk in, attend the meeting, no restrictions, unless of course you're not vaccinated. If you aren't vaccinated, we ask you to wear a face mask. Otherwise, no restrictions. And you can watch also on, oh boy, it just went off the top of my head. Zoom, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Chris. Thank you all. Zoom is an option that citizens can use if they don't want to come out in inclement weather or the heat or whatever. We will continue to have our meetings broadcast via Zoom. I think I'll leave you with that. Been talking more than usual, but I hope people will become involved in the Stop the Violence mission so that we don't have to tolerate it here.
Thanks, Jerry. And we always enjoy you talking, so don't worry about that. Mike, town of Lima, how are we doing there?
Things are good here, Chris. The Canisius Lake Association, July 24th and August 3rd, will be offering free pontoon boat tours to Livingston County veterans. Anyone who is interested in more information can call 346-6864 to sign up. This is part of the Outdoor RX program that the Livingston County Board of Supervisors funded. This spring, I asked Senator Gallivan to consider sponsoring the Assembly Bill A-1657 for veterans school tax exemption in the Senate. I was notified this past Thursday that this has come true. S-7277 is the companion bill with Senator Gallivan's name on it and has been referred to the Rules Committee. The bill requires school districts to provide veterans alternative exemptions with the cost borne by New York State. Now with it in both houses, it can move forward. I attended a press conference at Mulligan Farms this past Tuesday where Senator Schumer announced $11.3 million in USDA funds for fiber optic based broadband in Livingston County. Empire Access is going to be the vendor for this, and Empire Access, of course, was voted best in class high-speed provider by PC Magazine. Lima residents in both the village and town are encouraged to go to the empireaccess.com website and sign up if you are interested in the service. The timeline, of course, for installation is not set yet, but the work is to start almost immediately. The matching money comes from Livingston County, and that has to be spent first, so there's nothing holding the project back. The Crossroads Festival, signs are going up, and we are less than 3 weeks until the opening parade, which is July 28th at 6 p.m. See limafest.org for all the details. There is still room for a couple of teams in the bed races area and a couple of teams in the barbecue competition. The Lima Town Board this past Tuesday approved a public hearing for the August meeting to set water rates for the 4 water districts which are outside of the village. You'll see it published in the Sentinel what the proposed rates are. And that's all I have, Chris.
Thank you very much, Mike. Rick, Village of Honeywell Falls, what's cooking there?
It's great to be on and see everyone as always from Honeywell Falls, the keepers of the southern gate of Monroe County. You know, Jerry, you always talk about Rush being the best kept secret, and that may be the case, but you are no secret. That is for sure. And then I just also wanted to say thanks to Mike. Great job with Senator Galvin on that bill. It's very important. So kudos to you. Really following up on village aspects, a little bit of update or follow up on things we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, but some things have been made a little bit more formal in the last week. So this past week, the village did sign the agreement and a new ambulance has now been ordered for the Honeywell Falls Mendon Volunteer Ambulance. We expect that rig to be delivered in a 2 or 3 month time frame. So we, again, as I mentioned last week, we appreciate our partners in this, and this will come out, fully be paid for out of capital reserve money that the town of Mendon, the village of Honeywell Falls, and the town of West Bloomfield have set aside through our agreement. So this is great for the ambulance. The village has also approved phase 1 of the new fire hall project and this is specifically design, planning, and financial related. This will provide our estimated cost of the facility, a view or look of what the concept design will be, and the costing estimate. And this phase will then allow the village to move through or to the referenda process. We would expect that portion to be completed in Q1 of 2022. So again, this is simply a planning and cost estimating phase, if you will, and design phase. And then also the village this week did sign formally the agreement to move forward with the Hyde Park project. We expect this project to begin in late July, possibly early August, but it's being scheduled now. All Hyde Park residents and property owners that are specifically adjacent to Hyde Park will be notified well in advance of the project beginning and details of the project, and that will certainly be sent on to the Sentinel as well. But our expectation and desire is to have Hyde Park, the repairs completed, and this road open back to one-way traffic before school opens this year. On a little side note, there is still potentially some litigation that is going to be taking place for the cost of this project. But we felt, the village board felt very strongly that we needed to move this project forward before any further deterioration of Hyde Park occurred. These storms we've had over the last couple weeks have shown us even more erosion to that area, and we can't let it get out of control. So we need to move this project forward, and so we are doing so. So that is really what's happening in the village right now. We also, and I'll just dovetail again a little bit into what Jerry had said, our meetings are all fully open to the general public now moving forward for all of our meetings, but we will continue to have a Zoom aspect as well, at least for now. So we appreciate the opportunity, Chris, and thanks to everyone else for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. John, town of Mendon, how are we doing there?
Chris, thanks again for having us. We are always look forward to this venue to explain to various people and throughout our community and our neighboring communities what's going on in the town of Mendon. One good thing that we've all heard recently is the Mendon Carnival's back on for September, weekend after Labor Day. We're all looking forward to that, and the more of these types of events that take place, the more we feel like we're getting back to normal. Also, on our town board meeting, next town board meeting, which is July 12th, the town board will be having a public hearing to abolish our planned unit development portion of our code. We have felt that the current code is lacking in terms of what a planned unit development really is. We've actually run it by Monroe County, and they have said that what we have in our code really is not acceptable for a traditional, what is known as a PUD or a planned unit development. So we will be reviewing that going forward and establishing a new portion of our code for planned unit development. We're not going to get rid of it permanently, but what we have now, we're looking to abolish. So that public hearing will take place on July 12th. Summer Rec is up and running. We've had reports from the director, and everything seems to be going very well. We're once again pleased to see that event take place this year. We did receive notice from the state that we will be receiving $655,680 for the ARPA, which is funded through the federal government. And that comes through in what they call two troughs, one this year and one next year. There's still a lot of information coming down on that. And now that the board is looking at various aspects of that funding and how that funding can be used to utilize the best interests of our residents. Our former librarian at the director of library at the Mendon Public Library is retiring, and I believe they are interviewing. It is a civil service position, and they are interviewing people off the civil service list. We have sent out a request for proposal for some speed monitors. Recently, I was over in Farmington and saw some monitors that they have that are very mobile. They're also solar powered. I did talk to the supervisor over in Farmington, and we did send out an RFP. So we're hoping to get some responses from that and be able to put up some further speed monitors throughout the town. We also have an Eagle Scout project that is for retiring flags at the community center, which also is the location of post 664 of the American Legion. That'll be around the back side of the building off the parking lot, and people can bring their American flags there for legal and proper disposal. And that pretty much covers it. A lot going on right now, but we're busy, and we expect to stay busy really for the rest of the summer and into the fall. Obviously, the Mendon Carnival is a highlight that we're looking forward to come September.
Did we get a date on that, John?
Yes, I did. It is September 10th and 11th. It's 2 days, not the traditional 3 days. 2 days, September 10th and 11th.
Excellent.
So we're looking forward to that.
All right. Thank you, John. Anybody have anything they forgot to say that they want to add? See, you get to see my silly face after I ask that question all the time. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for being here this week. And thank you for watching the Mayors and Supervisors Update. We're here every Sunday at 1 o'clock on YouTube or Facebook. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.
I know.
Thank you, Chris.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.